My roommate stole my perfume. Warning, when I find out, this perfume is not for you to use. He started crying. My classmates scolded me for not having just a bottle of perfume. Why be so mean? I sneer at them, not knowing. This perfume is for the dead. As long as you spray it, it will attract ghosts. The full text lasts 22 minutes and has been completed. That leash. Did you steal my Chanel perfume? In the dormitory, I spent my life questioning the girl in front of me, but Li Xiaoquin seemed to be frightened by me. Aggrieved, head up, recording. Joe, I don't know what you mean. I've never touched your perfume. Saying that, his eyes also turned red. Very innocent, which you see makes people fall in love. But I don't eat this set. I slapped the glass bottle of perfume on the table. Sneered. This fragrant watermouth is wet. You were the only one in the dormitory just now. How dare you say you didn't spray? You don't smell yourself when no one else has a nose. No, Xiaoquin's face turned white, but the next second, he was crying. I was using your perfume. He started crying. That's because I have an internship interview today. They say use a little perfume. It will make a better impression on the interviewer, but I can't afford perfume. That's what I'm saying. His tears kept rolling down. Keep your head down. I'm not good at recording. Please forgive me, okay? Li Xiaoquin didn't lower her voice when she spoke. The other roommates in the dorm heard it. The square violin sleeping on my top bunk is wrinkled. I couldn't help but start recording, so I sprayed perfume. You need to be so excited. Even Suyatsi from the shoe team shop also said coolly. It's not that you don't know that Xiaoquin's family is not in good condition. Can't you be more tolerant and kind? There are 4 people in our dormitory. Because I often don't live on campus. Add my personality. I don't like to get along with living people very much. So all along, I don't get along with my roommates. I know they're all whispering about me behind my back, pretending to be tall, but I don't care. I'm going to college anyway. It was supposed to be for a diploma. I'm not here to make friends. Therefore, and at this point, I don't care what they say. Just reaching out to Lisha. You used my perfume. Give me $100 bucks, even if it's clear. As soon as I say this, Feng Qin and the others completely jumped up for 100 yuan. Are you blackmailing the recording? Li Xiaoquin was also stunned, immediately crying more aggrieved, recording. Are you deliberately embarrassing me? You clearly know that I am a poor student. There's no way to come up with the money. I was too lazy to pay attention to him. It's just so cold that I'm only giving you one last chance. 100 yuan. Do you give it or not? If Li Xiaoquin gave the money now, that's still causal. There may be room for maneuver, but if he doesn't pay, I really have no money. Li Xiaoquin cried out and recorded it. I beg you, don't embarrass me on purpose anymore, okay? I sneered. Retract your hands. Whatever you want, just don't regret it. I went to school that afternoon, just entered the classroom. I noticed that everyone was pointing at me, whisper, and I sat down. I heard 2 girls talking behind me. Did you hear? Xiaoquin accidentally used a recording of a little perfume. The recording actually asked him to pay 100 yuan. Wow, that's crazy. Isn't this recording artist very rich? Why are you so mean? Who knows? Maybe I just envy Xiaoquin for being more popular than others. It turned out that Li Xiaoquin used my perfume, spread the word in the class. I just find it funny. This Li Xiaoquin is obviously the one who steals people's things. Why do you still consider yourself a victim? Is it advertised? Then a boy suddenly walked up to me. Take a picture of my desk recording. I only heard the boy speak unceremoniously. I hope you apologize to I have black question marks all over my face. Treat boys with an expression that looks like a fool. Why should I apologize? Guys are righteous, of course, because you humiliate people. Shockley just used a little of your perfume. You humiliated him. Don't you think you're going too far? I looked at the boy in even more shock. I wonder if I have too little contact with the living. How? I can't understand his weird brain circuit. Li Xiaoguian on the side came over. In a hurry, Li Xiao. Don't blame the recording for me. And he looks back at me. Don't worry about the understanding recording. I don't blame you anymore. I've seen things again. Obviously a thief. You can say forgive me. So I looked at him with empathy. I don't blame you anymore. Because I looked up at Li. I don't have the extra dead air in my heart. Smile. You don't have much time left. As soon as I say this, the others froze. And finally, it was the boy named Li Xiao who came back to his senses first. Angry scolding recording. What the hell are you talking about? Li Xiaoquan's eyes are also red. Watch my recording. I know you don't like me. Coco, you shouldn't have cursed me to death. I was amused by the recording. Where did I curse you? I'm just stating the facts. You want to hit me more than energetic. But I have stood up, walk out of the classroom without looking back. The rest of the class is also watching the play. See me leave. The monitor just came back to his senses. Recording. This is going to be a class soon. Where are you going? My footsteps do not stop. I'm afraid the mentally retarded will be contagious. Go first. I walked all the way outside the classroom. Because it's class time, so the school building is empty. But when I got to the elevator, but suddenly stopped. I frown at the empty elevator stall. I have no choice but to ask, why are you here? Voice falls. A handsome man in ancient costumes appeared in the corridor out of thin air. He was wearing an ink robe. It's a masterpiece with beautiful features. I saw him leaning lazily against the wall and laughing all over the place. I can smell the incense of the soul, naturally come to see, but he gently showed off, and suddenly realized that there was something called a picosmosis, and so on. This soul incense is on a living person. He seemed to have realized something interesting. Look at me and smile more and more playfully. Shin, you are so cruel. Greedy for fennel for the living. Do you want the living person? Can you taste the taste of being torn apart by 10,000 ghosts? The man in front of you. His tone was very worried, but shot Freude in the face. But it can't be hidden at all. I can't stop complaining. You Ghost King are so idle. There's still time to meddle with me, a little brat. That's right. The man in front of me is no one else. It's the ghost of the whole underworld, Ghost King Muke, who would be terrified if he saw it. As for me, despite my status as a college student, in fact, there is another layer of identity. I'm a ghost, Aaron. This is my family's ancestral trade. I was chosen by my family from birth. Eat cloudy rice. And my errand is rather special. I specialize in helping build those evil ghosts. My job is very simple. Find those evil spirits. Then figure out a way to put it on them. Spray on something called spiritualism. Fragrant stuff. This fragrance is very special. Attractive ghost. So he was sprayed with the evil ghosts of the Soul Village. It will immediately attract thousands of ghosts, and they will be killed by those ghosts. Sounds shredding and devouring, soul flying. That's quite a punishment. All these years of being a ghost, I have dealt with countless evil spirits, unknowingly. I also died with my head on. That is, Ghost King Mu is familiar. Others in the netherworld, ghosts say Mukyu is ruthless. It's a terrifying big ghost. But in my opinion, Mukyu, this guy, just an idle, boring ghost. I have nothing to do all day, wandering around in the Fuji temple, like today. But the other party is also my work leader in name. I still have to defend myself in due course. I didn't spray spiritualism on the living. My roommate stole it himself. Li Shaoguian never dreamed of it. He stole my perfume. It's not Chanel at all. It's the incense I use for my work, because the soul incense needs to be used at any time to avoid suspicion. I had an illusion. Turn it into the look and smell of Chanel perfume. Take it with you. I thought no one would touch my things. So when I took a shower at noon today, just put it on the dorm table. But I didn't expect it to be so good at Kung Fu. Li Shaoquan stole the spray, you know? Although the incense is generally used when it needs to be punished, on the evil spirit of the ring. But actually, it works in the living. It's just going to be slower. Put simply, the evil ghost was sprayed with soul incense by me. It will immediately attract countless ghosts to bite him clean. But if it's a living person sprayed with soul incense, although it also exudes a smell that attracts ghosts, but it won't attract a lot of ghosts all at once, but will slowly attract. Suction ghosts will come one by one, bite the flesh and soul of the living being sprayed until the living man dies. Soul flying. This is not. Mo Q also smelled Li Shaoquin's soul. Fragrant taste just came. Mo Q was stunned when he heard my words, raised his hand and pinched it, then just laugh out loud. That woman is really courting death. Interesting. I haven't seen it in hundreds of years. Such a stupid person. And I thought, well, I guess not. Because it's leech, spiritual incense sprayed by myself. So this whole thing from start to finish, it's all his own cause and effect. It has nothing to do with me. I was kind enough to ask him to pay at first. I just want him to be himself, but cause and effect. Then I, as the owner of the soul incense, can you still find a way to take back the soul conjuring incense on him? But he refused to pay. Then I can't help it. And Wu-Q in front of him seems to have a good show to watch. Very excited. Let's talk about it. This is the first time I've seen a living person use a soul incense. I don't know who the first ghost was. He was mumbling something to himself. Suddenly my eyes lit up. I was taken aback. I looked up and found that the lights in the corridor were flickering. A blast of cold air spreads. It's a very haunted devil may cry. Then, oops. A shrill scream came from our classroom. Mukyu excitedly took my hand and went to the play. I actually want to say that I don't want to go to the play. After all, the scene of ghosts devouring evil ghosts. I've seen it, I don't know how many times. Now the object of being swallowed has become leash. It doesn't seem to have gotten any better. Instead, because the living have flesh and blood, the scene will be more bloody. It's disgusting to think about, but I can't beat Mukyu's point. I can only accept my fate and be pulled into the classroom by him. The classroom smelled of blood. Li Xiaoqian was surrounded by her classmates. Blood all over the thighs. The whole face is pale, and by his side lies a wildcat that has passed out. Blood all over his face. The students around were screaming in panic. Quickly call an ambulance. Li Xiaoqian was bitten, and it quickly spread throughout the school. The school's major WeChat groups are discussing. Did you hear? Li Xiaoqian from the Department of Journalism, inexplicably bitten by a wild cat. Bite the whole leg with blood. It's weird. The wild cats in our school, aren't they all nice? How could you suddenly bite someone, right? I feed those kittens every day after school. Such a small cat. How could it bite someone so hard? I always thought it was a bit sinister. Listen to the people in their class. Wildcat suddenly went crazy. Pounce and bite. It's so strange. There was a lot of noise. But Li Xiaoqian, the party involved, couldn't take care of it. He was sent to the hospital for emergency treatment. The doctor said his calf, a piece of flesh, was bitten off. I have too. Li Xiaoqian's staff in the class are really good. Many students in the class. They all followed him to the hospital, especially those boys. Looking at Li Xiaoqian's pale face, it hurts like hell. These wildcats are too much. Li Xiao was so angry. The school should have dealt with these cats earlier. I heard these words from the side, but I couldn't help but chuckle. These people are so funny. I really thought it was the cat. Actually, that cat is completely controlled by a ghost. This will bite, leash. I couldn't control my laughter, heard by the rest of the class, and they turned to me. The face is uglier. Recording. Fang Qing said with a cold face. What are you doing here? Are you here to see Xiaoqian's good show again? I testify. I'm not interested in this bloody drama. I'm really not interested at all. But Mukyu just loves to watch plays. It's not enough to see the scene in the classroom. He even dragged me to the hospital to continue watching. It's a pity that Fang Qin and the others can't see Mukyu. So I just shrugged. From good to punishment. Then I won't watch it. Saying that, I turned around and was about to leave. I didn't expect to wait at this time. A weak voice suddenly sounded. I turned my head and realized. It turned out that Li Xiaoqian didn't know when she woke up. I saw her face was very pale. The paleness seems to be due to more than just blood loss. The depths of her eyes. There was a deep sense of fear. Xiaoqian, are you all right? Li Xiao, who was next to him, saw him wake up. Hurry up. But Li Xiaoqian was not in the mood to pay attention to him at all. He just struggled to get up from the bed. Look straight at me. Recording, I have something to tell you. Where's Xiaoqian? The other students looked at Li Xiaoqian in surprise. But Li Xiaoqian couldn't care less. This is the opening of my niece. Please go out first. I have something to say to the recording alone. The students were surprised, but I still respect Li Xiaoqian's meaning. Left the ward. Li Xiaoqian and I were the only two people left in the ward. Li Xiaoqian couldn't hold back immediately, even the weakness of the body, struggling to get up recording. Did you already know something? I saw Li Xiaoqian's terrified look. Not surprising. Two outsiders. This is a wild cat that bit Li Xiao. But Li Xiaoqian has a party. I guess I saw the ghost. He must have thought I said he was going to die. I'm so indifferent that I told you long ago. You shouldn't be wearing my perfume. Li Xiaoqian's face suddenly whiter. Sure enough, it's because of your perfume. That's what led to those terrible things. He panicked. He was clutching my arm, died crying and begging for recording. You must have a way, right? Since this perfume is yours. You must have a way to help me solve it. Please count me, please. Please help me. Those ghosts are so scary. Obviously, Li Xiaoqian in front of him, after a personal experience of attracting ghosts. finally scared, but just looked at him expressionlessly. It's too late, but Li Shaoquan didn't seem to hear me. What suddenly came to mind, I went to the phone by my bedside. By the way, you said last time that I will give you money, and I will give it to you. I'll give it to you now. I'll give you as much as you want. I heard my cell phone ring. It turned out that Li Shaoquan had already transferred money to me. I looked down at my phone. Some depressing raised eyebrows. Mukyu, who has been silently eating melons next to him, come over to see the numbers on my phone. Whoosh. Didn't you say your roommate was a poor student? What do I think? He's rich. I saw Li Shaoquan. He actually gave me 10,000 yuan in one go. Where is this the handwriting that a poor student should have? Mukyu is a gossip. I saw him pinching his fingers and holding it up. You are not easy. I figured out the money. But they all carry peach blossom debt. And this time, Li Shaoquan still grabbed me excitedly to record. I already gave you $10,000. Please help me. I made the money back with a blank face. Excuse me. It's too late. I'm definitely not targeting Li. It's about telling the truth. If, at the time of my request, he immediately gave me 100 yuan, I might still be able to save him. But now, the spiritual incense on his body has already taken effect. Even the great Luo immortals couldn't save him. But Li Shaoquan didn't want to believe it. He seemed to think I was refusing to save him, still begging. In the end, I was really annoyed by him. Turn around and want to go. Unexpectedly, Li Shaoquan suddenly became excited, standing up from the bed, pointed at my nose and yelled at the recording. Did you do it on purpose? Are you jealous of my popularity? Prettier than you. Talent. I deliberately put that weird perfume in the dormitory, just to tempt me to spray you. Just trying to kill me on purpose. I looked at Lisha once again for this woman's audacity. Shocked. He stole my stuff himself. Self-inflicted. Now I still have the face to say that I deliberately tempted him to make mistakes. Just laughed out loud. But I have been in the same dormitory as Li Shaoquan for so long, I already knew. There's something wrong with this woman's circuitry, so I don't bother to know him in general. On the contrary, it is Muke next to it. After hearing Li Shaoquan's words, the whole expression turned cold. Because he said coldly, the orchid ghost fire condensed in the palm of my hand. Do you want me to help you deal with this woman directly? I was stunned and quickly stopped in front of Mukyu. He whispered that he had already been contaminated with soul incense anyway. Won't live long. Why are you on him? Stained with unnecessary cause and effect. This world has its own heavenly retribution. Any ghost, hurt a living person who has no grudge against him. There is a price to pay. Even the tomb of the Ghost King is no exception. That's why spiritual incense on the living and on evil spirits has a radically different effect. If the incense is on the evil spirit, after the ghost was attracted, even if you devour him, you're not going to get punished. Because of these evil spirits, it should have been punished. The ghosts gnawed on them, and it was kind of doing justice for the sky. But the soul incense is on a living person like Li Shaoquan, but it's different. Although Li Shaoquan is annoying, but it's not a terrible crime. A ghost attracted by the incense. If you bite his flesh or soul, all are tainted with sin. And no matter how powerful the ghosts are in this world, wouldn't want to do it for no reason. Stained with too much sin. Therefore, those ghosts who are attracted to the spirit village, generally speaking, After taking a bite of Li Shaoquin and getting addicted, I won't continue to bite him. This is why Li Shaoquin, he won't be like a normal devil. His soul conjuring incense was immediately bitten by the ghost. Clean but will slowly attract more and more ghosts. Those ghosts will take a bite of his flesh or soul. Finally devoured him bit by bit. Mo Q glanced at me before retracting his hand. I'll listen to you. Anyway, it's cheaper for him to solve it directly. Little by little, it was torn clean by the ghosts. This is what he really deserves. I couldn't help but take a different look at Mu Q. Why does this guy hate Li Shaoquin so much? I'm too late to wonder. Why is Mu Q so angry? Li Shaoquin next to him, but already looking at me with fear. Screaming, recording. Who the hell are you talking to? I just looked at Li Shaoquin. Naturally won't answer his question. Just expressionless to all in all. I can't help you. Bless yourself. I turned around and left, ignoring the swearing behind Li Shaoquin's back. I know in my heart, Li Shaoquin will definitely not last long. It will attract other ghosts. Sure enough, the next day, I went to school, just entered the classroom. I saw the students talking nervously. It's so creepy. How long has it been? How did this happen again? And I raised an eyebrow. I thought it was Li Shaoquin who attracted the ghost again. But I didn't expect to hear my classmate continue to say, the last time it was Shaoquin who was bitten by a wildcat. This time, Fang Qing committed suicide again. Our school even get into something unclean, right? I accidentally took a picture of the scene. So bloody and scary. I was stunned. I thought it was Li Shaoquin who had an accident. But how could Fang Qing commit suicide? I had a bad feeling. I went to my classmates who were talking a lot. Just ask and show me the photo. The girl who just said she took a picture. He turned around and saw it was me. I didn't want to pay attention, but I held his shoulder directly. Repeat with a cold look and send me the photo. The girl was taken aback by my cold tone. That's why he reluctantly gave me the phone. You're a pervert while complaining about the recording. Love looking at these gory photos. I was too lazy to pay attention to him, just looking down at the photo. My face instantly grew even colder. I saw the square corpse in the photo, poured in blood, died very miserably. But I noticed something else. A small piece of paper taped to his back. The paper was deformed with blood, but I still recognized it as a little paper figure. You read that right. At this time, an interested voice sounded in his ears. I looked up and rolled my eyes. It's Mu Q again, this gossip ghost. Here, I heard him happily tell me. This little paper figure. It does, right? Li Shaoquin's birthday, 8 characters. This Fang Qin has become Li Shaoquin's scapegoat. Write a person's birthday on a paper figure, attached to another person's back. The person who is pasted. You will temporarily become a stand-in for the owner of the birthday horoscope. In addition, Fang Qin is inseparable from Li Shaoquin every day. Those who were Li Shaoquin, the ghost attracted by the soul. It's easy to mistake him for Li Shao, but after biting the square piano, the ghost realizes that he has been deceived. That's why he killed Fang Qin in anger. I frowned and looked at Mu Q, who taught Li Shaoquin this calligraphy. Although this substitution technique is not a very clever statement, but Li Shaoquin has no research on metaphysics. It shouldn't be guided by reason. Mu Q, this gossip. Sure enough, the melon is very comprehensive. Tell me right away, I've looked into it. It was a ghost who was eyeing Li teach him to use this double. I frowned even tighter. Why did that ghost, Taoist priest, help Leash? You still don't understand. Mukyu laughed out loud. Of course he wants to eat, Lee. Xiaoqian doesn't want to be tainted with sin. I understood immediately. Soul and sense. The reason why it can attract so many ghosts to bite. Just because the smell is so fragrant. More, because the ghost ate the soul or flesh with the incense of spirituality. The ability to cultivate has greatly increased. But Li Shaoqian is still an innocent living person. This Li Shaoqian will be tainted with sin, so the ghosts can't let go of their stomachs to eat. But if Li become a sinful villain, that makes a difference. So this track is to tell Li this double is ostensibly to help Li, but in fact, it was deliberately aggravating Li Shaoqian's sin. After all, Fang Qin is dead. In fact, it was strictly killed by Li, so these scenes will fall on Li. Wait for Li Shaoqian again and again, using others as scapegoats again and again. After causing his own sin, that ghost will swallow Li Shaoqian in one bite. Increase your cultivation. I only heard Mukyu smile and say, I did the math. Li Shaoqian is probably killing 2 people. That ghost Taoist priest is about to start, and he put his arm around my shoulder. Smiling Tao Yin, let's watch a good show together. The next day, Li Shaoqian came back to class. His eyes were red and swollen from crying. Sipping is very sad for the death of his best friend Fanking, but I can see it clearly. He has already risked the dark room of sin. I know Fankin is dead now. Li Shaoqian must be looking for a new scapegoat. Sure enough, during recess, I saw Li Shaoqian take out a coat and give it to Li Xiao. Li Xiao said shyly, I went shopping yesterday. I see this coat suits you very well. I bought it and gave it to you. Li Xiao looked flattered. Did you give it to me? Shaoqian, you are so kind to me. Saying that, he put on the coat busily. In the entourage, other boys show off, and I do squint, because my yin and yang eyes see. In the mezzanine of that coat, there's a piece of paper. Li Zhao has become Li Shaoqian's new scapegoat. After school, I found Li Xiao. Let's get straight to the point and say, Li Xiao, take off your clothes, then burn. I say this, it's all for the sake of the classmates. Although Li Xiao is stupid and stupid, but least lethal, I just reminded him. But Li Xiao heard me. Just jump up and record. What nonsense are you talking about? He looked at me with disgust. This is a gift from Shaoqian to me. Why do you want me to take it off? Could it be that you suddenly realized something? Eyes wide recording. Have you always had a crush on me? I looked at Li Xiao in shock. Shocked, once again, by male narcissism. And this side, Li Xiao seemed to have seen through me, more and more certain that it must be so. And he looked at me meaningfully. I said, why are you always so against Shou? It's been a long time. Are you jealous that Shaoqian got my liking? I think I'm jealous of your inexplicable sense of superiority. I want to explain. No. Li Xiao interrupted me with a look of disgust. Recording. I advise you to give up, he said coldly. A girl with a dark personality like you, I wouldn't like it. You are all over. There is no place like unless he suddenly realized something. He looked me up and down, laughed playfully. It's okay if you want to sleep with me. After all, your face and figure are really okay. How did it go? This can be regarded as satisfying your feelings for me. I watched Li Xiao at this moment. It's good to finally be sure that this man is dead. so I said nothing more. Turn around and leave without looking back. Li Xiao was still yelling behind me. What are you running for? I'm willing to sleep with you, to give you face. Why don't you know satisfaction? My footsteps stop. I looked up at the oncoming wind. Squinting slightly, the ghost is here. Li Xiao can die. Sure enough, Li Xiao is dead. Died suddenly in the classroom. The official reason was a heart attack, but I know he was scared to death by the ghost. A spate of student accidents. Let the students at school realize that something is wrong. Many students took leave to go home, and I continued to suck in school. Also, I'm a little curious. I don't know who will become Li Xiaoqian's third. My question was answered quickly. The next night, I just came to the dorm to take a shower. I don't feel right when I put on my pajamas. I grabbed my pajamas and took a look. Sure enough, found I've got a sewing hole in the back of my pajamas. Tear inside. I found that there was a small paper figure inside. At the same time, the laughter in my ears is a misunderstanding. He wiped away tears of laughter, pointing at my nose and laughing to death. Yin Yin, you have become Li Xiaoqian's third scapegoat. Huh? I looked at Mu Q in front of me expressionlessly. Mu Q, this is the girls' dormitory. Can you have some face? Mu Q finally stopped laughing before looking at me. What are you going to do now? I burned the paper figure in my hand. What are you going to do? I sneered. The play is over. By midnight, there was a sudden gust of overcast wind in our dormitory. I sat on the bed expressionlessly playing with my phone. The corner of the eye is clear, seeing the excitement on Li Xiaoqian's face. Obviously, he doesn't know I burned the paper he hid on me. He thought I was going to die. It's a pity that he didn't know it was really him who was going to be screwed. After a gust of wind, suddenly there was a weird sizzling sound outside our window, and I looked up. I saw a hairy female ghost climbed in through the window. Li Xiaoqian obviously saw it too, let out a terrified scream, but he quickly covered his mouth. Look at me. Excited. Low bite to death recording. Go and bite the recording bitch to death. I really think Li Xiaoqian, this woman may not have a good brain. Why doesn't he think about it? Since I can have such a thing as spiritual incense, how could it be that he has no skills at all? Did he really think a paper man could kill me? But I didn't bother to tell him. Just keep playing with your phone expressionlessly. The female ghost keeps approaching us, then pounced on Leash. The excited smile on Li Xiaoqian's face, instantaneous solidification, turned into a panicked scream. What are you doing? Are you going to find the recording? Why are you looking for me? Don't come here. He hastily reacted and wanted to run, but it was too late. The female ghost bit off his arm. At the same time, I noticed that this ghost is quite powerful enough to care less about sin. So after biting Li Xiaoqian's arm, he still feels dissatisfied. He even wanted to bite Li Xiaoqian. Li Xiaoqian was about to be bitten to death. In a hurry. Suddenly, I remembered a figure falling from the sky. Fell violently in front of Li Xiaoqian. It's a male ghost, wearing a Taoist uniform. I only heard him say coldly to the female ghost, for a mouthful of soul incense, aren't you afraid of being tainted with sin? The female ghost was originally roaring in anger. Hearing this, he seemed to calm down. He glanced at Li Xiaoqian unwillingly, finally left reluctantly. As soon as the ghost leaves, Li Xiaoqian breathed a sigh of relief, crying into the arms of the ghost. Taoist priest, thank you. You saved me again. I was shocked. I know Li Shaoguian is a green tea, always hooking up at school. Boy, but I didn't expect him to be so brave. Ghosts? Hook up? Could it be that he let go of him expressionlessly? Cold to your third standing. The finger has been scrapped. Li Shaoguian was stunned. That's why you're not willing to look at me, right? I wanted him to be my stand-in, but I don't know what's wrong. The ghost Taoist priest looked at me next to him. In the wood by my side, there was a flash of panic in his eyes, but soon he looked at Li Shaoguian coldly and scolded him for being stupid. How dare you provoke the woman of the Ghost King? What am I? I'm not. I don't have. When did I become a Muke woman? Mukyu is smiling in my ear. Because they misunderstood our relationship. I looked at him with a blank expression. I just want to say, this Taoist priest is really a romance novel. Too good at thinking. Ghost Road. I and Egg can only eat melons. Be a melon friend for a while. It is impossible to develop a relationship between men and women. And this side, although Li Shaoguian didn't quite understand the words of the ghost Taoist priest, but he also knew that his double had failed. He cried in panic, "You must help me. Give me another paper, man. I'll find another scapegoat." But the ghost Taoist priest said coldly, "Capgrass can only be used 3 times per person. You have used it 3 times. It can no longer be used." He looked more flustered than Shaoguian. Hold the ghost, Taoist priest. There must be another way, right, priest? You can't leave me alone. The ghost Taoist priest ignored him. Just talking to yourself, can't use stuntmen. Those ghosts will definitely find you. In that case, why don't I do it first? Voice falls. He raised his hand sharply. He grabbed Li Shaoguian's head. "Ah," Li Shaoguian screamed, and I was stunned, right? I was surprised to eat Li Shaoguian during this track, but Li Shaoguian is not the most cut on her body now. Enough to eat. He has to be infected with cause and effect. Mukyu shook his head. He's not going to eat him. To turn him into a ghost slave. I was stunned and looked up. Sure enough, he didn't move his mouth when he saw the ghost, but Li directly put it into his own gourd. I realized it. Li Shaoguian is also guilty now, although not serious. If you eat it, he doesn't need to be contaminated with a degree of cause and effect. But if it is to refine him into a ghost slave, his sins are enough. There's no karma. And as a ghost slave, ghost Taoist priest can also absorb the resentment on him. Growth base. And I was like, okay, Li Shaoguian might as well be eaten by 10,000 ghosts. Being refined into a ghost slave is extremely painful. 100 years after that, Li Shaoguian has to endure it every day. Suffer the pain of being torn apart. It will take 100 years for the soul to disappear. Want me to say? It's better to be eaten by ghosts. Broken Wood looked down at me. What about raising eyebrows? To play. His classmates loved to help him. I shook my head firmly. He brought it upon himself. If he hadn't thought about it at first, let someone else be the scapegoat. He can still die happily. But because he has evil intentions, to end up with such retribution after the ghost got Li, he respectfully saluted and left. Angry Q also stretched and woke up. The play is over. I'm back in the underworld. And he goes away. And I looked at Li Shaoguian's corpse next to me. Call the police with a blank face. The police will be here soon. It was determined that Li Shaoguian also died of a heart attack, because there's so much going on at school. The school decided to suspend classes for a week. Even a lot of reporters came to the door. A reporter learned that I was the roommate of one of the deceased. He even came to interview my classmate. I heard your school has been haunted recently. Many students died inexplicably. What do you think about that? I looked at the reporter and thought. After thinking about it, he still said something. My idea is to leave people's things alone. There will be retribution. After saying that, I ignored the stunned expression of the reporter and turned to leave.